Alright guys, check this out. So basically what's going on is we attack real fast with Mana Strike. That procs lots of Frost Claws. Those Frost Claws shoot out all sorts of other multi-hit attacks. Ice Barrage and Ice Spirals. Those crit a lot and make a bunch of meteors fall thanks to the Harbinger of Stars belt. We also have Zap, which will make a lot of multi-hitting attacks when it's up too. You add that all together, you get tons of multi-hit attacks with tons of lightning. I'll also put a link to the build and a super simple loot filter in the description below. So let's talk about the gear first. I'm gonna just hover over each of my pieces and talk about the general stat requirements for this build. Basically what you want to get is a lot of melee attack speed, critical strike chance, and critical hit multiplier. And then you just balance your defenses. You also want to get a couple extra points into Meteor and any other skills you can squeeze on with legendary potential. I'm running a mix of both health and ward, but you could probably focus on one or the other. This is a melee build, so max defenses are a lot more important than stacking your damage up high. I've also got some ward per second idols that I like to have just to keep my shield up while I'm running towards enemies so that they don't get the first hit off and instantly kill me. And then the smaller idols just fill in health, mana, and any resistances that you may need to make up. So this build can also be played as fire. I have the gear for my fire spec in my inventory here. So you'd swap out the weapon and helm, add yourself a nice stat heavy offhand. The difference between playing fire or lightning is fire has a much higher crit rate thanks to the melee crit chance on the dagger and the extra stats from the offhand and this helm I'm using. Whereas lightning has a lower crit rate but a much higher damage ceiling, I guess. Here, I'll show you. So without changing any of my abilities or passives, this is what this build looks like playing as fire. You see how many meteors it spawns, but they're only doing about 50,000 damage max. If I switch back to lightning, you're going to see fewer meteor hits, but much higher damage numbers. And now we're getting up to multiple hundreds of thousands instead of the 10,000s. So what I've been doing lately is keeping my spec as lightning, but then using my fire gear for regular monoliths, and then switching to my set lightning gear for bosses. I feel like this is giving me a little more survivability in dense mob packs, just because of the faster attack speed and more crits. One tip I like to hold down move and mana strike at the same time. That kind of lets you stick closer to enemies instead of getting stuck attacking out of range. So for passives, we're going to be dipping into all 4 specialization trees. In the default mage tree, we're going to get Scholar for health and mana, Arcanist for intelligence and some resists, and then Mage Flurry for attack and cast speed and a little bit of cooldown recovery for teleport, and then Knowledge of Destruction for crit chance and multiplier. In Spellblade, we're going to take Arcane Warden for ward generation and intelligence, Elemental Affinity. In the 3rd tier, Arcane Shielding for damage reduction, Warden's Echo for Frostclaw generation, Shattered Aegis for more damage reduction, and then Essence Duel for attack speed and more ward generation. In Rune Master, we're just going to grab Unsealed Mana for the 5-point bonus. We're going to be attacking constantly with Mana Strike, which doesn't cost anything, so this will help give a little extra mana and ward. And then also Sphere of Protection for less damage taken from ignited or shocked enemies. In the Sorcerer tree, we're going to take Calculated Destruction, 3 points in Mana Shell, 8 into Afterglow, and then 1 into Seranomancer for lightning, Rift Bolt for the penetration, Crackling Precision for the critical strike chance, and then up here, Arcane Insight for intelligence and ward decay, Arcane Current for an extra multiplier, lightning damage to shocked enemies, and then over here Mana Well gives you increased mana and a little bit of extra ward. Since I'm only level 93, the last 7 points I get I'll probably put into Arcane Obliteration and or Archmage, just for some extra damage. On to skills and specializations. Our main attack is Mana Strike. We spec it for increased crit chance, attack speed, and obviously regaining mana. So 3 points into Arcanist Blade, 4 into Swift Sap, 4 into Sprite Blade, 4 into Mana Drain, 5 into Critical Mana, and 1 into Critical Rejuvenation to increase the crit chance. Frostclaw is our main multi-hitting spell. I'm going to take 3 points in Shiver Shell, 1 in Riowin's Veil, 2 in Macahol, 1 in Glamdring, 2 in Frozen Sleeper, 2 in Chaos Whirl, and then over on this side, 2 into Gift of Winter, 1 into Fen of the Frozen, 2 into Bright Frost, 1 into Power Word Hail, Hand of Morditas, Volley of Glass, Archer's Scepter, and Spark Artillery. So all of these hexagonal ending points are abilities that do generate multi-hits. And those are going to crit and create meteors for us. Flame Ward is our main defensive and buff spell. We're going to take increased duration with dilation, extra damage with infusion, swap it to lightning with lightning ward, more damage with through flames, and then have it give us haste with flame runner. Over on this side we're going to take stalwart defense, barrier, and prismatic buffer for damage reduction. Okay, Meteor is our main proccing, hardest hitting spell. Over here we're going to take increased damage with Crushing Force, Infernal Descent, and then only if it's lightning, take Stardust. Otherwise, put points into Craterborn for the fire penetration. On this side, take Force of Impact, Extinction, and Astral Cataclysm, and then Rapid Descent, and start getting extra meteors here with Twin Meteors, Meteor Shower, 1 into Rapid Impacts, and Rain of Fire, and then I also put 2 points into Distant Craters for another multiplier. Lastly, we have Enchant Weapon. This is our second buff spell, and the main thing we want over here is Conduit. So we're going to get 5 points in celerity for more attack speed when activated. Fulminate. Conduit, like I said. And then 4 points into capacitance to make the zap happen more frequently. This is going to hit all enemies around you and cause a lot of crits when it's active. Then on the other side, you want concentration to make it last longer, and efficacy just for decreased mana cost and a little bit of elemental damage on it. Just realized I may have misplaced 1 or 2 points in there, but that's the general idea. Put it all together, and this is what you get. A random thing that I wish I could take advantage of. Look at the difference in crit rate between my lightning setup with the staff and helm versus the added base crit chance from this and this. So right now I'm at 31, 21. Add those. Oh, and this has some on it too. From 31, 21 up to over 100% crit chance for melee attacks. But you lose out on so much damage from the lightning side. So I really hope someone can theory craft this a bit better and maybe take it further than I'm willing to. Because after farming for a few days, I'm about tired of playing this guy. But it's different. It's not, you know, Frostclaw Nova. And it's fun to play different things, even if they're not the strongest build. So, good luck, and I wish you success.